Somebody mention me what were we learning yesterday?
Stem cells and therapeutic cloning.
Okay, okay, that is done. Fine. ये मेटाबॉलिज्म कंपोनेंट हम खत्म कर दिया क्या? Did we complete the metabolism part, or we are yet to do it? Wait, I'll share this slide so that you may actually. See, I'm presenting in my screen. Look at the screen. Did we complete this portion?
No, sir.
Okay, this is a very short portion anyways. I'll be just telling you in a while. Give me a minute. Okay, so we will be like completing biomolecules and we will be completing metabolism today. So biomolecules, I will not be presenting anything for biomolecules because earlier we had so many number of what do you say topics for the midterm examination, but as of now we have actually removed most of them because of time constraint. Okay, so we will just go through the basics. Can somebody tell me? So it's kind of a normal interaction. Can somebody tell me what is an atom? Atom क्या होता है? Can somebody tell me what is an atom?
Smallest building blocks of anything. A living organism, yeah. Non-living organism.
Yeah, be it a living or non-living creature, this is the smallest block that is available, right? So when you're actually looking at atom, we have different kinds of atoms, and what are the atoms basically composed of?
Electron, proton, neutron.
Electron, proton, neutron, right? So when you're actually looking at the atoms, the so-called proton number and electron number actually should be matching, right? They should be same. However, we see that some of the atoms, not all atoms have the orbits being filled with complete electrons. Okay, so there are only few atoms that tend to gain stability, and we call them as noble gases, or we tend to call them as noble gas configurations. So rest of the atoms tries to undergo bonding. Okay, they undergo changes to attain that noble gas configuration, and we have different types of chemical bonding in nature based on that. So beginning with covalent interactions. Can somebody tell me what are covalent bonds? कोवलेंट बॉन्ड क्या होता है?
Share of electrons.
It's nothing but the sharing of electrons, right?
So are you presenting something or not?
No, I'm not presenting. I just said that this is a casual introduction, casual discussion. So after the casual discussion, I'll again present it. As of now, I'm not presenting anything. Okay. So can you give me examples of covalent bonds?
carbon dioxide.
Okay, carbon dioxide.
O2.
H.
O2. Okay,
Yes.
all of these are okay. Fine. What do you say? Covalent interaction. Fine. Now let's go to ionic bonds. So before going to the ionic bond, we have to learn about ions. So we have anion, we have cation. Cation क्या होता है? Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Why,
Positive.
why do you think the cation has a positive charge on it? Cation में positive charge क्यों होता है? समझ लीजिए प्रोटॉन्स है, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स है, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स में से हमने एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को निकाल दिया है, तो the net charge on the atom will be so the atom will be having a charge coming up from the proton, and that's the reason why you tend to see a positive charge on the atom, and we are calling it as cation. Examples of cations:
Sodium.
Na plus.
Na plus,
Ca2 plus.
Ca2 plus, Mg2 plus, right? Now tell me something about anion. Anion क्या होता है? How does it form?
Negatively charged.
Negative charge.
It is negatively charged. So the charge actually is happening because it has actually an extra electron. Okay, so बाहर से it has actually took an electron, and that's the reason why it is having a net negative charge on it. So when a cation and an anion interacts, the kind of interaction is happening because of the charges, and we call it as ionic interaction or ionic bond. Okay, so these two are some of the strongest forces in the nature, or strongest modes of bonding in nature. So ionic bonds का example बता दीजिए, tell me the examples of some of the
NaCl, HCl.
Chloride.
MgOH won't do.
okay, MgCl2, calcium chloride, NaF, all of these are sodium iodide, all of these are of ionic interactions. Fine. Now, other than these, we have weaker interactions in nature also. Okay, so we have out of these in the syllabus we have three interactions. One are like van der Waals forces of attractions or polar bonds. Other than that, we have hydrogen bonds, and then we have coordinate covalent bond. So beginning with the van der Waals forces of attractions, can somebody tell me what are these van der Waals forces of attractions? Or you just tell me what do you mean by a polar molecule? Molecule, now we are talking about molecules. Matlab, atoms are already bound, they are forming molecules. In the molecule also we tend to see some polarity. Okay, not all molecules are polar. Some molecules tend to exhibit polarity. So what do you mean by polarity? Polarity क्या होता है? Come on, these are all basics. ये तो आप पढ़ के आ चुके हैं, and already you must have learned the same basics earlier in your chemistry classes also as well. So tell me something about these things. Come on,
So
everyone.
a molecule in which one end is slightly negative and the other one is slightly positive.
Right, very good. That actually creates a polarity because on the interacting partners, when you have unequal distribution of electrons, that results in the creation of a partial positive charge on one side, where you tend to see low electron density, and you tend to see negative charge on the side where you tend to see high electron density. Okay, so this creates polarity in the molecule. You have two poles, one with a positive charge and another one with a partial negative charge. Now these partial charges further undergoes interaction with the opposite charges available on the other molecules, other polar molecules, and such kind of a bond is called as polar bond. Okay, or we can even simply in simple terms we can call them as van der Waals forces of attractions. Okay, so now in such kind of a bonding, if you have a hydrogen as one of the interacting partner, and you have another electronegative atom on the other side, then you tend to call such kind of a bond as hydrogen bond. Okay, where hydrogen is mandatorily an interacting partner, and on the opposite side you have another interacting partner which is a highly electronegative atom. Okay, that's hydrogen bond. And apart from that, we have another bond called as coordinate covalent bond or dative bond. Coordinate covalency. Why does it happen? How does it happen? Coordinate covalent bond or dative bond. Come on, these are all basics. That's like pretty easy topic for you guys. So you have to be quick. Coordinate covalent bond क्या होता है?
Two center, two electron bonds.
Okay. Just give me a minute. कल नया गया था मैं. Actually, I did not go yesterday. हाँ. ना वहाँ पे वो डोर का रिपेयर चल रहा था ना, so I haven't gone there. They were installing doors at our cabins, right? तो वहाँ पे बहुत जोर से लाइक वो सब रिपेयरिंग वर्क का साउंड आ रहा था. हाँ, बहुत साउंड आ रहा था. हाँ, या हम लोग तो दे दिया वहाँ पे, सुशांत को दे दिया था. ओके, तुम्हारे पास नहीं क्या? अच्छा. ना हैंड ओवर इट टू देम, इट्स ओके, वो हो जाएगा. निकिता भी हैंड ओवर कर दी. हाँ, ओके 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 ओके, या ठीक है, बाय. Sorry. Yeah, and then we have code. Yeah, these are the kinds of interactions that we come across. Now, while we see come across the molecules, such kind of interactions, while we come across the molecules, we seldom tend to see that we have two different categories. One are organic compounds and the other one are inorganic compounds. So organic compounds क्या होता है? They basically have a backbone of carbon and hydrogen. Okay. If they have a backbone of carbon and hydrogen, and as an associating partner, they can have anything, like you can have hydrogen, oxygen, OH, sulfur, phosphate, anything else. Okay, so such kind of molecules tend to be called as organic compounds. Okay, then we have inorganic compounds. Inorganic compounds are something that doesn't have a carbon and hydrogen backbone. So can you tell me the examples of organic compounds?
Glucose,
Yes.
glucose,
Methane,
Methane, okay. Then benzene.
fructose,
Fructose is okay. Yeah, sugar.
galactose,
Basically, all forms of sugars. Fine. Then all forms of
carboxylic
sugars,
acid,
carboxylic
alcohols,
ribose,
aldehydes,
alcohols.
benzene,
Your DNA is organic in nature. Then all your so-called molecules are made up of membranes. They are made up of lipids. Your lipids are organic in nature. So we have many different types of organic compounds in nature. Basically, all of them has a backbone of carbon and hydrogen. Now going to the inorganic compounds. Tell me the examples of inorganic compounds.
HCl,
Like water is inorganic in nature. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is inorganic. Why are we considering carbon dioxide as inorganic?
No carbon hydrogen bond.
Yeah, basically there is no carbon and hydrogen backbone, and hence we are not considering them as organic. And more of inorganic examples. We have so many number of salts that basically are inorganic in nature. Okay, like your sodium chloride, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride. Then we have NaOH. Then we have acids like sulfuric acids, HCl, phosphoric acid. All of these are basically inorganic in nature. So if you're going to look at the properties between organic and inorganic compounds, so organic compounds, they can straight away dissociate in the liquids like water or any organic solvents. But if you're going to look at the inorganic compounds, the inorganic compounds may not dissolve that fast. They dissociate, and while dissociating, they tend to form something called as ions. Okay, so that's the properties of organic and inorganic compounds. So if you're going to look at the biological matter, we are made up of both organic and inorganic component. However, the organic component is major. So carbon and water, these two have very important roles in our body because water has multiple roles. Like water itself is acting as the cell itself is majorly made up of water. So we use water for transportation, as we can see in the blood. Even in the cytoplasm, also the water is actually acting as a solvent. Okay, and in some cases, the water is required for metabolic aspects. Like let's say there are reactions where hydrolysis has to happen. In such cases, the water itself is acting as one of the reactant. Okay, so this way water has multiple roles to do. Like it takes parts in excretion, it takes part in carrying off different metabolites from one area to other, transportation के लिए चाहिए. So this way water is much necessary for all the living creatures on the earth. Apart from water, carbon again has a very prominent role because majority of the structural elements of our body are made up of carbon. Okay, so of all these, we have four important organic compounds that has to be considered because they are the one which drives the functioning of the body. Okay, so metabolism of these four is very important. What are those four? Number one is carbohydrates. Number two is lipids. Number three is proteins. Number four, nucleic acids. Nucleic acids, other than metabolic aspects, they also have a major role in carrying your so-called hereditary information. Okay, so that way we have four important organic compounds. So sugars already you know, carbohydrates. We just are going to study the basics only. So sugars, so we call them as carbohydrate. What does the name suggest? Carbohydrate, which means if you are looking at the carbon and hydrogen backbone, let's say we have 3 carbons or 5 carbons or 6 carbons or 10 carbons, whatever the carbon number may be. One of your carbon is associated with the functional group. It can be an aldehyde or a ketone. And other than this, excluding this carbon, rest of your carbons will be associated with a hydroxyl group, OH. Okay. And
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Are you sharing your screen?
Nothing.
Okay, sir.
So other than this, other than that particular specific carbon, rest of the carbons will be having a hydroxyl group, OH group, and hence we are calling such kind of molecules as carbohydrates. Okay. Best example is already we have discussed sugars like glucose, fructose, galactose, all of these. Ribose तो already हम देख चुके हैं DNA RNA formations में ribose and deoxyribose. So deoxyribose is a modified version of regular sugar called ribose. So this way we have formation of sugars. Then coming to something called as fats, lipids. In layman's language, we call them as fats also because of availability of long chains of carbon and hydrogen known as fatty acids. Okay, so the fatty acid chains usually gets associated with simpler so-called carbohydrate groups called as glycerol. Okay, so these glycerol basically have 3 carbons on it. So all the 3 carbons, if they are associated with fatty acid chains, then we call them as triglycerides. Okay, आप तो नाम देखा ही होगा. Like whenever you are actually looking for your blood profile, especially for your lipid profile, one of the common things that you see in the lipid profile is triglyceride, and the other common thing that you see is cholesterol. Okay, both are fats. So triglyceride क्या होता है? We have 3 carbons of glycerol. All the 3 carbons of glycerol have the oxygen on them. Each and every oxygen is esterified to a long chain of fatty acid. And these fatty acid chains, all 3 fatty acid chains are linked with 3 different carbons, and hence we call them as triacylglyceride or triglyceride. So these are the kind of the energy molecules that we get from the food. हम जब खाना खाते हैं, खाने में जो lipids आता है, these are the lipids, and they are the one which are usually utilized for energy purposes. Okay, glucose से भी ज़्यादा energy इसमें होता है. The problem is that our metabolism or the way the cell basically takes the energy, it requires more glucose than the fatty acid, and that's the reason why we are not preferring lipids for the energy purposes. And on top of that, lipids, अगर हम ज़्यादा metabolize करेंगे and if we utilize them more, then probably we have more issues pertaining to physiology. And that's the reason lipids we are not considering more. So we have to have a less fat diet. Okay. And other than triglyceride, we have something called as phospholipid, where the same glycerol molecule, 3 carbons. ग्लिसरॉल मॉलिक्यूल में 3 कार्बन होता है, तीनों का ट्राइग्लिसराइड में क्या होता है, तीनों कार्बन पे 3 फैटी एसिड चेन्स जुड़ा हुआ है, लेकिन फॉस्फोलिपिड में 2 कार्बन पे फैटी एसिड चेन जुड़ा हुआ है, 1 कार्बन पे फॉस्फेट ग्रुप जुड़ा हुआ है, and that makes this molecule partially hydrophilic and partially hydrophobic. I think we have already seen the structure of phospholipid in lipid membrane while we were studying membrane. So we have seen that it's partially hydrophilic and partially hydrophobic. So this partially hydrophobic moiety is coming from the first carbon, which is linked to a phosphate. Now comes the third category called as cholesterol, steroids. So steroids में बहुत सारे steroids, they are basically long chains of fats that got converted into cyclic compounds. So these are cyclic fats, and we have multiple types of steroids available in nature. They are basically required for our growth, for reproduction purpose, and even for regular physiology. Okay, examples is your cholesterol. In cholesterol also we have 2 versions. We have bad cholesterol, we have good cholesterol, HDL, LDL. So HDL is basically high density lipid, is considered as good. LDL is considered as bad. We have to maintain both of these ratios. Your health is good. If LDL level goes up and HDL level goes down, then we tend to have imbalanced lipid profile. Okay. Apart from that, we have other hormones. Like most of the hormones are basically steroidal. Like you take testosterone, you take estrogen, progesterone. All of these are steroidal in nature. So this way we have lipids. Then we have proteins. Proteins are made up of simpler components called as amino acids. So amino acid क्या होता है? If you consider a carbon, if a carbon is occupied with both amine group and acid group on other side, then we tend to call such kind of a molecule as amino acid. Okay, so amino acid has a common structure where 3 groups are stable. On the left hand side you have amine. Downward मतलब कार्बन का 4 वैलेंसी है, तो चारों वैलेंसी को आप 4 डायरेक्शंस में कर लीजिए. On west we are adding NH2. On south we are having hydrogen. On east we are having acetic acid or COOH group, and on top it will be simply R. So R is a side chain. It can be hydrogen, it can be oxygen, OH, it can be CH3, it can be any other molecule. So depending upon the R, we have 19 different types of amino acids in nature, out of which 10 types we can actually make it in our own body, and rest of the types we have to get them from outside. Okay, so we eat food. While we eat food, we get all the essential amino acids. So amino acids आने के बाद what do we do using these amino acids? Now we are going to build a long chain of amino acids. So the bonding is again covalent. We call it as peptide linkages. So through peptide bonding, the amino acids get connected, and while they get connected, they form chains. If the chain is 50 amino acid length, then we call it as a polypeptide. After 50 and beyond, we call a chain as a protein. So protein क्या होता है? It's a chain of amino acids which is beyond 50. Okay, protein is a chain of amino acids which is beyond 50. Below 50, we have to call it as polypeptides. Remember that. So this way the proteins are being formed, and then we have another kinds of molecules called as nucleic acids. Regarding nucleic acids, we have already read everything. Okay, so we are not going to discuss that in today's class. Now going to the topic called as metabolism. Now I will share the slide. So this is a very small topic. We are not discussing it in detail. Where is metabolism? Yeah. Okay, so you can see here. So as we are made of chemicals, we have to perform. We are automated. We have to perform a lot of activities. So we require energy to do that. So where
I'm
do we
not
get
able
it?
to see, sir.
Now
Yes, sir, visible.
It is
Yes, sir,
visible.
visual.
Okay, fine. So to do the task, to do the energy, to do the task, we require energy. So where do we get the energy from? हमारे बॉडी में तो एनर्जी प्रोडक्शन ऐसे ऑटोमेटिकली होता नहीं है. Okay, so we are not. We require certain molecules to gain the energy, and these kind of molecules are not. We are not able to synthesize them on their own. Okay, so there are different creatures available on the earth. Some of them actually can synthesize such kind of molecules that from through which we can actually derive energy. We call such creatures as autotrophic creatures, and there are certain creatures which cannot make their own energy molecules, and we call such kind of creatures as heterotrophic because they have to feed on others, they have to depend upon the others, especially the autotrophic creatures or any other creature, and they have to get the food. So while we are looking at the energy, we have two forms of energy, right? One is kinetic form of energy, and the other one is potential form of energy. Okay, so kinetic form of energy it's basically required for motion. Potential form of energy is the stored format of energy. So in our body, the primary concern is about the potential form of energy. So where do we get it from? As we are made up of chemicals and all, so we have certain chemical compounds that do possess a potential form of energy. Okay, and such kind of compounds can be synthesized by a group of creatures called as plants. So they perform, they basically take the photic energy. The photic energy is translated or converted into the chemical form of energy, and the process is called photosynthesis. Okay, so these are autotrophic, so they can make their own energy molecules. And depending upon these, now starts your vegetarians. We call them as herbivores. Okay, so these are from here starts your heterotrophic nature. Heterotrophic means dependency on the others for energy sources. So the potential form of energy that is available in the plants is taken by these guys. Now these guys got the potential form of energy. They have the distribution of energy in the body. Now these are again fed. These are again like taken by their predators, which usually are carnivores. Okay, so we human beings, we are omnivores. We can feed on both animal and plant content. Okay, so we get the we take the. However, the primary motto is that we have to gain the potential form of energy from these creatures. So we gain them and we release them. Okay, so while we are doing that, you see the metabolism. You see the basics of metabolism. So we have two different types of metabolisms. Some of the metabolisms are aerobic in nature, some of them are anaerobic in nature. It never stops. As far as your life runs, the metabolism never stops. So basically, what is this metabolism? This is nothing but we have different chemical reactions running in the body, and all of these chemical reactions are routed towards the energy. Okay, so if you're going to look at the cellular metabolism, it can be referred as the complete chemical processes that happens in a cell. The complete chemical process that happens in a cell can be called as metabolism. So it has different types of reactions. Like it has a, it can be reversible. It can be irreversible reaction, or it can be a substitution reaction. It can be an addition reaction, or it can be a decomposition reaction. We have different types of reactions in the entire metabolism. Okay, so so when you're actually looking at a metabolic process, the process it does not happen randomly. Rather, it happens in a series of reactions. So we call this entire series of reactions as a metabolic pathway. So in a cell, at a point of time, you may have multiple metabolic pathways running together to achieve a certain function. Okay, so on a whole, if you're going to look at an organism like us, we have a organ called as liver. The liver is basically the region where most of the metabolic activities get started. Okay, so majority of the processes begin here, like your drug related issues or like your food related things. All of these are directed to the liver. The liver does the primary processing, and then that is redistributed to different parts of the body. For this reason, we are calling liver as the seat of metabolism. Okay, so we have two major kinds of metabolic processes in the nature. One is anabolic and the other one is catabolic. Anabolic matlab, from a smaller component we utilize the energy and we build a larger component. Example, see glucose is monosaccharide, it's simple sugar, and glycogen is polysaccharide, it's complex sugar. So these are made up of thousands of glucoses. So from simple glucoses. We are adding all the other glucoses, and we are using the energy to make a larger molecule called as glycogen. So this is a synthesis reaction, and such kind of reactions are called as anabolic reactions. Anabolism में क्या हो रहा है? From a simple molecule, we are building complex molecule. Okay, so we combine multiple number of simple molecules, and we use energy to combine them, and that way we are creating a larger molecule. So this is kind of a synthesis reaction. Then comes second category called as catabolism, which is opposite to anabolism. So here we have a larger molecule. From a larger molecule, we break the larger molecule into smaller molecules, and while we break the smaller molecules, we also liberate energy. So while doing that, okay. So here we place the energy, and here we liberate the energy, and on top of that, here we release more number of products. Okay. So this is catabolism. So we have two different kinds of reactions in the metabolism. One is anabolism, and the other one is catabolism. Okay. So energy flow आप देख चुके हैं. This is just like the way the Mufasa. You have seen the Lion King, right? I think most of you must have seen Lion King. So there, Mufasa will be explaining to his son Simba that one day we eat deer, followed by one day we die. We get back into the soil, and again the so-called energy is being taken up by the plant. The plant grows again. The deer is going to eat the plant. So here, the so-called potential sources of energy is being transferred, and it's a cycle. Okay. So how does all these things basically get regulated? The center point for all the metabolic activities is your ATP. The center point. Why? Because why we are doing metabolism? It's because of the energy. Why do we need energy? Because we are doing some certain functioning, and the functioning needs energy. So anything to do work is called as energy. So here in our cell, we have one of the important molecule called as adenosine triphosphate. So adenosine triphosphate evolutionary basis पे adenine को हमने choose किया है because you see in adenine molecule you don't have any oxygen, right? And in the course of evolution, because of that property, it was already available, and probably there's a thing that make adenine so special, and you see that in current disease life also adenosine triphosphate plays a prominent role. Okay, and it doesn't mean that the other molecules like guanine, cytosine, and all will not be able to form the so-called monophosphate or diphosphate or triphosphate. They also can form. But if you're going to look at the energy utilization, highest level of energy utilization will be coming from ATP, and the second, the most utilized content is from GTP. Only purines will be contributing. Pyrimidines won't be contributing much. Okay, so we have ATP and GTP. Both can actually give you energy, but on evolutionary basis, majority of our metabolic pathways has chosen ATP, and that's the reason why ATP is standing as the energy currency, not GTP. Okay, so ATP जब synthesis होगा तो कहाँ कहाँ पे होगा? When we take food, we get ATP from protein, we get ATP from carbohydrates, we get ATP from fats. All the three will be giving the ATP. Okay, but while they are doing that, you see they have to get catabolized. मतलब they have to get broken down. So you see, for example, you see we have like 16 or 17 of carbons in this fat. We break them down by a process called as oxidation. Here we break sugar by a process called as glycolysis. Here the proteins are basically broken down. Okay, so we are deaminating, and then while we deaminate, you see the carbons are actually getting broken down. So this way, the longer chains of organic compounds have been broken down. They are catabolized, and all of these will be having a common intermediate product called as acetyl coenzyme A. Remember this. This can come as a short form of question. Remember the name of this. For your entire metabolism, the common intermediate is ATP. For entire metabolism, I'm saying. मतलब catabolism, anabolism सब मिला के. अगर आप सिर्फ catabolic process को देख रहा है, especially with these energy-based molecules, then the common intermediate is acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, so we get a common intermediate called as acetyl coenzyme A. These all breakdown processes happens in the cytoplasm. Once your acetyl coenzyme A is formed, now it is moving into the mitochondria. In mitochondria, it undergoes a series of reactions where it is going to give you some byproducts. These byproducts further enters the membranes of the mitochondria, where they participate in electron transport chain. So here they undergo different levels of oxidation or reduction, and while they do that, the protons from those molecules are actively pumped up. And this pumping of the protons results in generation of a charge-based force due to which a molecular motor drives. And the driving of the molecular motor will be giving you this energy molecule in the mitochondria. What is this? ATP. Okay. So if you're going to look at the entire process, we get ATP here also, we get some ATP in cytoplasm also, we get some ATP. But majority of the ATP will be coming as an end product from this electron transport chain. And further purpose, if you're going to look at the overall ATP content of the cell, majority of the contribution is coming from mitochondria. And that is the reason why we say mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Okay. So this way, the metabolism of your body keeps running. So we are not going to discuss much in detail. This is pretty much enough. Okay. Just a briefing of the basic pathways. So we have metabolism of proteins, metabolism of carbohydrates, metabolism of fats. You don't have to remember all of this. They are going to give you a common intermediate called as acetyl coenzyme A. So this entire catabolic process happens in the cytoplasm. After acetyl coenzyme is formed, now we have additional processes happening in the mitochondria. One of the processes called as Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. In citric acid cycle, we get byproducts that will be utilized in the electron transport chain, and because of electron transport chain, we have generation of a proton motive force that leads to functioning of a motor called as functioning of a motor. You just remember the molecular motor. This molecular motor will be giving you the energy molecule called adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so this is all about the metabolism. We will stop here. In case if anyone has any doubts, let me know. In case if anyone has any doubts, let me know. Okay, fine. If there are no doubts, you all can start leaving. People who haven't given the attendance, they can stay back. People who have not given attendance, they can stay back. बाकी सब जा सकते हैं. Thank you all.
Sir, 844.
844.
Sir, 793.
793.
Sir, 808.
769.
769.
Sir, 808.
808.